It's been a while since I recorded a video vlog in the car. I've been experimenting and trying a lot of different things. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll notice that I've been creating videos using different techniques, um, talking about things that interest me or things that are on my mind. So I'm gonna update you guys what's going on in my life. So I've been at my new job now for 7 months, heading into my eighth month. And I was telling the HR one day, I think this is maybe a couple of weeks ago when I was heading out, and I'm usually the last one to leave. Um, I usually get into the office like 8:15, 8:20. Everyone starts work at 8. I'm salary, so I just go in. As long as I get everything done, and there's a lot to do. And I told her, like, this is probably the best job I ever had in my life. I get to do creative work every day, and the deadline is not crazy. And I only have to answer to a few people. I answer to the marketing director and maybe a few salesmen if they need me to do stuff. But they usually go through the marketing director, or they give me stuff to do, and I negotiate the deadline. So, and the pay is like really good. It's not like super high yet, but it's pretty up there considering that I have not worked full-time as a designer for a long time. Now, granted, I've been freelancing and just constantly keeping my skills sharp. So this job basically does everything that I've been working on. Like, I just finished launching a website for them, and I'm working on another website for them, and it's probably gonna get launched in March. So a second site I'm working for this company, it's for another brand that they own. On top of that, I'm designing their catalogs, and then I'm designing some of their bags and stuff like that. So it's just, and the stress level is not like when I was working at an agency or a PR company. And maybe because I'm older now, I'm more savvy and more calm and just very like low key about the way I do things. Maybe I have a lot of life experience and just a lot of experience doing things. But I want to talk about something that's kind of personal to me. I spent almost 20 years in the gutter, basically 20 years underemployed, and just when you're underemployed or not at the level that you need to be, people look down on you, right? And for 20 years, I struggle and struggle. For some of you guys who don't know who I am, I used to work in the fashion industry. I used to manage 6 graphic designers. I used to work for a PR company for a little bit. I did web design, graphic design, fashion merchandising, fashion design for different fashion companies in Toronto for almost 7-8 years. I also worked in printing and stuff. And then I was kind of lonely. I got laid off, and I met my wife online, and I was like seeing her for about a year. And when I got laid off, I said, you know what, let's just move up to upstate New York. And I moved up to upstate New York, and I never got my career back on track. My career just took a nosedive. And for like 10 years, I worked in a public school as a teacher assistant because I'm not a certified teacher. So I got paid half of what a teacher made, but I utilized all my skill, and I taught computers, multimedia, computer business. Like I taught digital film, I taught like digital music, digital communication. So the school district that I worked at, I was able to convince the principal to let me teach all these courses for the students, and they took advantage of me, and I basically took advantage of the situation because that allowed me a lot of free time. I would teach only maybe 4 classes a day, and the students were really excited because they got to learn things that they wouldn't usually learn. The school district got like a really subject expert who lacked the teaching credential, but still can teach the subject. Now, I want to put a caveat to this. Like, when I was working at the public school, I already had a lot of teaching experience. I taught Sunday school, and when I was in art school, I was like a struggling art student. So I actually did some tutoring, and I actually taught at several after-school art programs just to make ends meet. And so by the time by the time I taught at this public school, I was very, very like equipped. And then on top of that, I was teaching martial art and stuff. So I have lots and lots of like teaching experience, probably more than most teachers probably when I started teaching. Anyways, and then the last year and a half, 2 years, I worked as a custodian at a travel stop and at a truck stop, and it was just down the gutter. Like I was exhausted, it was very physical. But one thing I did not do was give up. I just kept on plugging at it. I got depressed a lot. And so what I would do is after work, I would work overnight. So after work, I would sleep, and then I would get up and I would put in 2, 3, 4 hours developing my software skills, developing my business skills. When I was working at this truck stop, my shift finished at 11. And what I would do, excuse me, I have a cold. What I would do is I would go to my office, and my office is at my MMA gym, and I would go and work, like stay up from midnight till 4 in the morning, just learning how to code or designing website or doing graphic design, or I had some crazy business idea that I would work on, and I did that nonstop. So now that I have this job, it's basically utilizing everything I've been working on. And I feel like this job is just the beginning because it's like momentum. And I basically get paid to do what I love, and my skill is just gonna get better because every time I'm working on something, I'm pushing my knowledge higher by just learning more about what I need to do, right? Like if I don't know how to code, I'm using ChatGPT to fix my code. If I don't know how to use a software, I will read about it, watch videos on it, or use ChatGPT to guide me, right? And so in the last 7 months, my InDesign skill has gotten a lot better. InDesign came out when I got out of art school. When I was working in the printing industry, InDesign wasn't out yet. We were using Quark Express. And so when I moved up here to upstate New York, I never actually got to work on InDesign. InDesign version 1 just came out when I was working in the graphic industry, and it wasn't the standard yet, right? And I had to quickly figure out how to use InDesign, which is not that hard. I mean, there's certain things that I'm still trying to figure out because the way it's done is a little bit different than Quark Express. But I'm very familiar with Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. Well, also Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop has changed a lot. Like I had like pirated versions of like Photoshop CS1 and Illustrator CS1, you know, Creative Suite 1, right? And back then the workflow was more complex because I feel like everything's automated now. I feel like there's like a button for this, a button for that, right? But back then we had to do like 3, 4 steps to get to where we need to do it today, right? So back then there wasn't as many buttons, there wasn't as many features. So I feel like graphic designers back then, we had to like really rough it out, right? But anyways, I'm old now, like I'm 52. And I feel a little bit sad sometimes. I feel like, man, for 20 years I struggle, and it's like a dog that's super tired, like a senior dog, and that dog finally got adopted into a good home, and now the dog just wants to sleep and rest, like, you know what I mean? Or it's like a soldier who's been fighting for so long, and when he got home to see his family, he's like, my goodness, like this is it, like I don't want to do anymore, right? And I got this really good paying job. It's like life-changing in terms of like how much I get paid. And my goal is to probably in 3 years, if possible, you know, jump even higher. Like I have all these things I'm working on. I'm trying to build an AI agent for like a business idea that I have. And I feel like I'm such a late bloomer. Like, why does it take me so long to get to where I'm at? And I feel sad a little bit because for 20 years, I struggled because I moved up to upstate New York from Toronto, and I kind of gave up a career, and I didn't realize how hard it was to find a job in my field, right? It was kind of weird when I moved up here. I had like, I went to art school, I went to fashion school, but none of those courses, those schooling I took were degree program. And so all these people, all they care about is degree. But now my portfolio and my work is so strong. And if you talk to me, I understand business, I understand marketing at a very high level, that I can run in circles around people who have a degree. And I've proven myself, you know what I mean? And so degree is irrelevant, you know, for me anyways. And, but I feel kind of sad. Like, I feel like, why did it took me so long? But on the other hand, I feel like, you know, there are people who did really well when they were younger, and then when in their 50s, they got laid off. And what happens, they got stuck at a job and they got too comfortable and they never upgraded their skill, never kept their, you know, their ear to the ground to understand what's going on. And when they got laid off from, let's just say $100,000 a year job, they can't find another job that pays $100,000. They have to settle for like $50,000 or, heaven forbid, you know, $40,000, right? So imagine you're making $90,000, $100,000, you know, as a upper management in something, and you never develop your skill, and then you got laid off because the company downsized, the company went bankrupt, or whatever, right? Or they just want to hire two younger person to replace you. And so that's what happened. And for me, I did the opposite. For 20 years, I struggled, and now in my 50, I'm 52, I'm starting to bloom again. So I guess in a way, it's a blessing in disguise, because I learned to live so frugally the last 20 years. I learned to live on nothing. I learned to be so content. There's still a lot of things that bother me, like personal stuff that I'm battling with. But, you know, anyways, this video is for like the older people. Like, you know, do you feel like it's too late for success sometime? I get a little bit sad. I look at myself, I'm like 52. I wish I had my knowledge and experience that I have now, but 10 years ago or 20 years ago, you know? And I guess that's the way life is, you know? Right now it's snowing really bad outside, and I'm driving to Mooresville to pick up my daughter. My daughter goes to Mooresville, and she's off on Friday. Today's Thursday. And so I'm driving to pick her up. It's an hour and a half drive. And then she wants to go back on Sunday. So she's just going to be home for like 3 days. But I feel like, you know what? She wants to come home. She wants to work a little bit, make some money. And I get to see her, right? So why not? But holy cow, there's a lot of snow. I'm hoping that on the drive back home is okay. Anyways, sorry for the rambling. Let me see, how long have I been talking now? Oop. 13 minutes. All right. Please like my videos. Please comment. There's a whole bunch of stuff I'm working on, and sometimes, you know, you feel momentum. You're like, yeah, there's momentum in my life, you know, and you just ride it, because sometimes the momentum go away, you know, and the momentum takes you to this level, and then you kind of stay there for a long time, and then you have momentum and you go with it. Sometimes there's no momentum, and you're just down the gutter. And my suggestions, always push yourself, but when you sense there's momentum, like my brain's on fire, right? Like, there's so much I want to do. Ever since I discovered generative AI, like ChatGPT, Midjourney, Leonardo, all these speech-to-text software, I'm teaching myself so much stuff. It is crazy. It's like every day I'm in school learning stuff. It's crazy, you know? I wish I discovered ChatGPT at version 2.0. You know, I discovered it a year ago, version 3.5. You know, now it's up to version 4. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to upload this video with very minor edits. Talk to you guys later.